G'day everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, by the title, we are doing another grading AFL teams video, and in today's video we're going to be grading every AFL team's draft performance of last week's draft. There are definitely teams that did a lot better than others, a few that you question, couldn't they have done better, so we're going to be diving into all that kind of stuff in today's videos. So of course we go in alphabetical order and we'll give each team a bit of a recap and also a grade. So if you do enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, that would be much appreciated, and let's get into the grading. Okay, kicking on off in alphabetical order, of course, we've got the Adelaide Crows, and I'm going to be giving them a B+. I felt their draft was very good. They picked up that Josh Russell fellow at pick 6. He is a player that I think will fit the Crows very nicely, kind of that outside mid that can, will probably be on the forward flank. Will definitely be able to support, Ben Keys and Roy Sloane and Roy Laird, those kinds of players. Got a very good kick on him, and I think he'll be solid. Jake Soglio and Zach Taylor, very good pickups as well. Taylor also being a bit of a slider, so he, looks very promising as well. And those are both players that can, play at AFL level quite well. So for them, a B+ fits very nicely. Now for the Brisbane Lions, I'm going to be giving them a B grade. I felt, they had a really decent draft as well, picking up 𝐼𝙗𝐿𝐴 at 16. Those were one of the players that I think they would have picked up in my mock draft, and they sure did. They were looking for that true rebound defender, and I think 𝐼𝙗𝐿𝐴 will fill the gap very nicely. At 20, they picked up Lohman. A bit of a surprising pick, but I felt that's quite decent because it's a speedy kind of midfielder slash forward that can help maybe on the wing. He looks very speedy, and his ground level skills I've heard is very good. And also Tunstall as well, who looks to be sort of that hybrid midfielder that has a very good inside and outside skill set. So for the Brisbane Lions, pretty solid draft, picking up 3 exciting players. I'm giving them a B. Now for the Carlton Football Club, and again I'm giving them a B grade. They only had one selection in the draft, it was 𝐬𝐿𝐴. They had 63 and 78, but they traded them out. I think 𝐬𝐿𝐴 really fits the Carlton squad well. They're looking for that kind of elusive and exciting half forward with the departure of Gibbons and Eddie Betts, and I think he'll be able to help out, players down there like your Zach Fisher or Jack Silvani or even Jack Martin. Jesse is definitely going to be a very exciting player to watch next year, and Carlton, it's a pickup that I felt really will bolster their squad, so a B grade for them. Now for the Collingwood Magpies, and I think it's a pretty obvious grade, I'm going to be giving them an A. It was a fantastic draft for him. It was pretty much a no-brainer that 𝐷ACOS was going to be selected at pick 4. Then, at pick 45, alongside 𝐷ACOS, who is arguably the best player in this draft pool, which I'm sure will be an absolute star, they managed to pick up Arlo Draper at 45, which is, another exciting midfielder that can go forward with excellent ball skills and overhead marking. And alongside those two fantastic pickups of 𝐷ACOS and Draper, they've picked, 2 very underrated looking stars in Murley and Harvey Harrison, who are, both midfielders that can go forward with excellent speed and endurance. And also, let's not forget, they did pick up that key back, Charlie Dean, which they did pick up through the rookie draft, and he was projected to actually go in the draft. So I think, having 𝐷ACOS and Draper plus 2 very solid looking midfielders that can go forward, added to their depth, plus a key back, which, does, obviously they rate quite well. I think it's a fantastic draft for the Magpies, and I'm sure those players are bound to make an impact next season. So for the Magpies, I've given them an A. Now moving on to the Essendon Bombers, obviously they had a very excellent draft too, but I've given them a B. I know some fans won't be happy with that. I've heard that Essendon did, some people saying they did one of the best performances out of any team, but I know that Hobbs is a very solid pickup and they'll be excellent for them. But I just feel that, if they wanted to pick Josh Sinn first, and if I wanted to select a play they wanted more, and they ended up getting Hobbs instead of Sinn, the play they wanted, you just have to say, you can't really give him that extremely high of a grade, but I'm sure that Hobbs will still make a fantastic impact, that, tough as nails, hard inside midfielder, that yeah, will give a lot of relief to players like 𝘼𝐻𝐿 𝐿𝐼 and Zach Merrett. And that definitely gives a lot of variety in Ben Rutten's side, so he has a lot of options to choose from. Alongside Hobbs, they did pick up a very nice looking rebound defender of 𝘼𝐿 𝐿𝐼 at pick 49, and one of the most interesting picks out of the whole draft, Garrick McDonough, I think that's how you say his last name. He was actually meant to, he missed out on the 2014 draft, but I heard that he got drafted because he just wrote a letter to every AFL club. So he is for sure a mature-aged draftsman. So yeah, I'll be really keen to see how he turns out. But yeah, Hobbs, still a very solid pickup. Will definitely be a force to be reckoned with. Win that midfield of Langford, Zach Merrett and Darcy Parish. It will be very, very interesting to see how they'll line up their midfield with Hobbs in. But yeah, I just feel it's hard to give them an A just because they wanted Sin in the first place. But still a very solid draft for the Bombers. I've given them a B. Moving on now to the Fremantle Dockers. And yeah, arguably, well, I think they did easily, the best in the draft. And it is a no-brainer, an A+. They have had a fantastic off-season so far. They've had a lot. They've been very involved in the trade period, picking up that Jordan Clark, who's pretty much essentially a first-round pick. They gave away 𝐻𝐿𝐼, but they've got some really solid picks, and they used them very nicely in this draft, picking up 𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐿𝐼, a very exciting key forward, Erasmus, another local boy who looks fantastic in the midfield. Then they pick up Matthew Johnson, the lad who slid like crazy, who's also a WA boy, so will fit in lovely to that Fremantle Dockers side, and also I think is one of their academy players, also from WA, Eric Benning, who looks like a very decent player too. So yeah, it has gone so perfectly well for Fremantle. And I still remember a few weeks ago looking at their plans for the next 5 years. You know, they're wanting to have a flag each for the AFL on the AFL women's side. I think 3 out of the 4 years they want to make top 4 or something. Honestly, this is the best possible start this off-season, how Freo have done this. You know, they've traded excellently well. You know, they've gotten essentially 3 first-round picks in this draft, plus Jordan Clark. So that's pretty much 4 first-round picks that they've picked up. It is looking so good. And Freo absolutely smashed it this draft, an A+. Now for the Geelong Cats, I've given them a solid B grade for their draft this year. You know, they are in a bit of a crisis at the moment. They need some youth, and they've gone, with the local boys. It seems they picked up 3 Geelong Falcon boys, Toby Conway, 𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐿, and 𝘬𝐿𝐼𝐿𝐼 𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐿. Particularly those 2, Conway and 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐿, are both excellent pickups. Conway being one of the highest ranked ruckmen in the country, and 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐿, excellent looking tall inside midfielder that will do very nicely alongside Selwood and Dangerfield. But yeah, those are 2 needs they really needed. Alongside that, Willis and Kroger, both needs for the team that look quite decent. They gave away Constable, but I feel these 5 players will be, you know, very, very key players of, you know, starting to build that foundation of youth at the Geelong Cats. And yeah, quite a solid draft for them, a B grade. Moving on to the Gold Coast Suns now, and I feel like this is an area where the franchise, you know, makes some controversial moves. You know, they gave away Hugh Greenwood, but I feel like in the draft, actual national draft, they did quite well. They picked up Mac Andrew, which is, arguably, the best ruckman in the country, looking like a very promising player, and he's headed off to the Gold Coast Suns. So it looks like him and Charles will rotate in the rucks potentially. Charles could move forward, but I think the Suns really ideally would have loved Finn Callaghan, but I feel like that's where Charlie Constable can come in. He looks like potentially a very strong inside midfielder to help bolster their midfield. I don't think he'll be an insane player, but he'll definitely be a handy player for the Suns. But yeah, it's all about that Mac Andrew fella. Looking, I think he could be potentially a very, very good player. And it's a ruck, definitely. It was a ruck that the Suns really needed. So not only is that a need they ticked off, it's also potentially, one. He looks absolutely fantastic. And for the Suns, I've given them a B grade. Now moving on to the GWS Giants, they had a brilliant draft. I feel they picked up 3 quality players, Finn Callaghan, 𝐿𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿, and also local boy Josh Fay. I've given them an A grade. It's such a brilliant draft from them. They've picked up Finn Callaghan, you know, they've had that high pick, and, you know, seeing how well they played in 2021, him added to the team will be absolutely brilliant. Alongside that, they've got a huge project player of 𝐿𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿, this guy, massive, rapid developing key back. kind of one-dimensional at the moment, but he is an intercepting freak and will frustrate a lot of teams' forwards 50s. And also Josh Fahey, potentially, yeah, he's looking like a bit of a Daniel Rich replacement, a deep deepish backman that can, has a penetrating left foot. So yeah, 3 really quality selections, and I feel those 3 can easily start within the first 5 rounds next year. So overall, an absolutely solid draft for the Giants. They are laughing, and yeah, they'll be one of the teams to watch next year. So fantastic draft from them, and an A grade is worthy for them. Now for Hawthorn, and I feel like they have had another excellent draft. One of the most underrated drafts out of any teams. I've given them an A grade. They've picked up 4 solid looking plays. First off, Josh Ward at 7. A player that they really wanted to pick up. A lovely left footer. And I'm pretty sure a few family members supports the Hawks as well. So he fits in very nicely. Will be a force in that midfield with his great skill set. Apparently he's got a great kick too. 23, they pick up Sam Butler. Now, I heard that they wanted to try and go up and trade with Freo for pick 21 to select Matt Johnson. But Sam Butler is still an excellent selection. That midfielder that can go forward will also be a quality player, I'm sure, on the Hawks side. Connor McDonald, I'm pretty sure another player that slid kind of. He looks like a very elite player as well. Gives them another midfield option. And then finally, Jai Sarong, that kind of hybrid midfielder that can play in and out. And yeah, also Carl Sarong's brother as well, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, 4 really solid looking selections, and they have picked up, an excellent list of players. And they've done very well this draft, so I've given them an A grade. Moving on to the Melbourne Demons now, and yeah, when you're a premiership side, you really don't have much to lose, but they've absolutely smashed it this draft. I'm giving them an A grade. Again, they've picked up some quality plays. Van Rooyen, that is probably the most perfect selection for them, and they're very happy that he did slid to 19th for him to go to the Demons. He is looking like they will play him as a key forward. And him with McDonald and Ben Brown, he is in an absolutely perfect place to develop his craft, and I'm sure will be an excellent player for the Demons. Blake Howes at 39, a kind of a very genuine wingman. I'm pretty sure he slid as well, and he looks like a quality player too. And also they managed to pick up the father's son of Shane, Taj Walden, who had an excellent back end of the 2021 season. So yeah, it is 3 really quality picks for the Demons. There are also 3 players with a lot of versatility. Van Rooyen can also kick back. Howes can also head in as a key forward kind of role. He's 190 centimeters. And finally, Walden, he looks like a player that can play inside and out in the midfield. So yeah, Demons absolutely smashed at this draft, and I'm giving them an A. Now moving on to the North Melbourne Kangaroos, and of course I had one of the best draft hands with pick 1, and they obviously picked up Horne-Francis, arguably the best player in the draft pool. Can do almost anything in that midfield and can also push forward and hit the scoreboard. And alongside that, also picking up Josh Goda. Very happy that they did pick him up. He looks like an excellent general defender that could also potentially play a key role. And also Paul Curtis, Miller Bergman, 2 very nice players that will fill in the Kangaroos' needs, that will give them a bit more depth. And I'm being quite lenient with them. I'm going to give them an A+, just simply because they haven't had a number 1 pick in a while, and yeah, him and Goda just seem to be 2 excellent pickups, and that's why I'm giving them an A+. I'm sure that those players will, be a force to be reckoned with, and will definitely give the Roos a bit of a hand next year. Let's not forget they also picked up Glenn Archer's son of Jackson Archer. One of the most courageous players of all time. Picking up his son, who is also very courageous as well, is another fantastic addition to the rebuilding Roos side. So I feel that these 5 players will be an absolute delight in Noble's side for the Kangaroos, especially since they are also in that rebuilding stage. Yeah, they'll be terrific additions to the side. So yeah, for North Melbourne, an A+. Moving on to the Port Adelaide Power now, and I am giving them a B-. I'm still getting, giving them that B grade, but the reason why I've given them a minus is just because how they moved up to take Sin. They pretty much, just gave away that future second round selection just to move up 2 spots to, select Sin, which will be an excellent addition for the Port Adelaide Power. A very, I think he'll be an absolute star because he was projected to go top 5, but injuries did affect him. But he has a lot of upside still, Sin. You know, he's that damaging, line-breaking halfback flanker. They'll definitely be able to move into the midfield eventually. Alongside that, 𝐻𝐿𝐿𝐿 at 55. An excellent looking balanced midfielder, Royal Ruckman also, Vicente, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and also the father-son of 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐿𝐿, who will be another excellent player to add into the Port Adelaide step. So still a few decent pickups. I know that a lot of people said that Port didn't do that great, but I still wanted to keep him in that B category because it's a very bold trade. You know, this is what happens when you really want to. It's kind of that premiership, you know, when you're in that premiership kind of window, you just have to be, you know, quite aggressive for some teams. So going in, I guess I rate it, but it's kind of a bit questionable. Also giving up a future second just to move up 2 spots. But still in that B grade, and I'll give Port a B- for their selections in this draft. Now moving on to the Richmond Tigers, they really need to have a solid draft. After their lackluster season performance this year, and they absolutely did that. They had a lot of high picks and they used them well. Picking up 𝐓𝐿𝐿𝐿 at 9, pretty much the best key back in the draft. They're very happy they got him. He did slide a bit because he wasn't picked up by the Giants. Tom Brown at 17, a very nice looking general defender. Tyler Sonsie at 28, you know, I'm pretty sure one of the list managers said he, you know, was probably one of the best talents out of the 5 players they did pick up. He also looks like a genuine player that could be pretty much anything. It's just up to the coaching staff. And also Sam Bakes and Judson Clark, both players that will give the Tigers a lot of depth and both players have quite a bit of great speed and versatility. So for the Tigers, it is an easy A+. They've picked up some real looking good talent, and particularly that Sonsie, you know, they had him ranked very highly, the Richmond staff, and he could potentially be an AFL star. But excellent selections, and for the Tigers, an A+. Now moving on to the Saints, and another 10 that smashed it in this draft. I'm giving them an A grade. They seem to select players that filled in the needs and also the wants. They picked up that 𝘍𝐼𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 Milera at 11, who's arguably one of the most exciting players in the draft with a fantastic kick, who has a lot of versatility, so he could be a bit of an outside player on the wing or even a half forward to help out, you know, Jack Steele and their excellent looking midfielders. 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 wins at 33, an academy player. The Swans, I think, selected them, but they matched the bid. Owens I actually had going in the top 20, and he looks like a very nice, just a solid, very physically built 190cm prospect that can play pretty much anywhere, particularly probably in the midfield. I can see him playing there. 𝐻𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 is an explosive midfielder that can really ping the ball around the park. And also Oscar Adams at 51. It just seems to be a need pick there, which I feel like could fill the gap very nicely with players like Carlisle and Frawley leaving. So a very nice looking key to 𝐵 just selected there. So I feel like St Kilda just smashed it this draft, and I will give them an A grade. Now moving on to the Sydney Swans, obviously the team that I do barrack for, and I think it's safe to say that, not necessarily in a bad way, but they probably did the worst out of any team in the league, and I will be giving them a C+, just because of their interesting selections to not take a key defender. They picked up Angus Sheldrick at 18, a huge bolter. He was expected to go mid-second round. But just alongside Sheldrick, they also picked up Roberts, Warner and Rankin. They just seemed to go with a lot of inside midfielder. Just that the Swans wanted to boost their midfielder stock. But with Sheldrick, tough as nails, goes completely 100% at the pill kind of midfielder. He's short, but he looks like, could potentially be a promising player if he keeps fit, and just goes very hard at the footy. And Matthew Roberts, a very skillful player, not the quickest, but I've heard that he is a great kick on him and a huge footy IQ. Pick 40, they do go with Chad Warner's brother of Corey Warner, a very nice looking hybrid midfielder that yeah, could play in and play out. And also Lachie Rankine at 58, who will, yeah, he could potentially slot into the Swans halfback as a bit of an intercepting defender, or a bit of a yeah, just a nice reading the play ball using kind of halfback flanker. So yeah, not bad selections for the Swans, but just considering that they were very interesting selections, quite unorthodox selections, and they didn't pick up also a key defender, it is a bit questionable, and they now have a lot of midfielders to choose from. So yeah, I still feel they did alright, the Swans, but for them, a bit meh at the same time, so I will be giving them a C+. Moving on now to the West Coast Eagles, and yeah, after their quite disappointing season, they really need to start picking up some plays that yeah, could really help bolster the squad, and I felt like they did that very nicely, and I'll be giving them an A-. I was thinking of giving them just a straight A, but I felt like they picked up a bolter at 14 of 𝐬𝐴𝐵𝗏, which is a bit of an unusual selection, and, you know, looking at it now, you just have to pop the question of, you know, why would they have done that? Couldn't they have just taken Matt Johnson? So that's why I've given them the - grade, but still an A grade definitely, because 𝐬𝐴𝐵𝗏 is definitely an exciting midfielder who can kick back onto that halfback flank. Brady Hugh, sorry, I'm so sorry if I pronounced that terribly wrong, at 31, he seems to be that kind of utility player that will really help the depth of this squad. Rhett Bazzo, a player that I really rate, at 37. They really needed a key defender, so he'll fit very nicely and in the key back department for the Eagles. That will play, yeah, excellently under McGovern and Tom Barrass in their defensive 50. They also picked up a key forward of Jack Williams at 57, a nice looking player that will definitely grow into Josh Kennedy and Jack Darling. The Eagles have very good key players, so yeah, this is why they are guessing wanting to start picking up key players now, which will, yeah, so they can develop very nicely under the very good key players that they do have at the moment for the Eagles. And also at 62, Greg Clark, who's actually a mature age midfielder and is, yeah, just a traditional big body midfielder who will definitely go hard at the footy. So yeah, West Coast Eagles, very solid selections, and I'll be giving them an A-. And finally, we have got the Western Bulldogs, and for me, yeah, they had quite a good draft, I guess. They picked up Sam Darcy, obviously the player that was always going to go to the Bulldogs, and I'm just going to give him a pretty solid looking B grade. Yeah, obviously Sam Darcy, the best key forward in the draft. He is tall as hell, and he has so much upside, also particularly being a father-son as well, so he has that promise as well, and he could potentially be one of the best key forwards in the next few years. He has a very good contested mark game and also a very accurate kick for goal as well. Also picked up Western Australian boy Arthur Jones at 43. He has a bit of versatility on him. He's a yeah, quick and elusive outside midfielder, wingman, or even a small forward. He can play either three. And also they picked up Luke Cleary at 61, who will definitely add a bit of depth into the Dogs list. As I guess a bit of a rebounding defender I'm seeing, who, yeah, just a very, one of those very composed rebound defenders that has a great footy IQ and great decision making skills, and yeah, also a bit of an intercepting marking freak I've heard as well. So for the Western Bulldogs, pretty nice draft from them at B grade. So everybody, there are all my grades for each AFL team's draft performance of 2021. Make sure to leave any comments below, you know, if you would have given a team another grade, or if you would have agreed with me, or if you thought, you know, oh, maybe I disagree or agree. You know, I always want to hear your fellas' suggestions. You know, this is what the channel's all about. Just a bit of a AFL community where I'm always open to hear other fellas' suggestions. So yeah, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Stay tuned on the channel for more footy content throughout the off season. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.